All right, for the kids class, our kids kung fu class, we want to do some of the stance work. I'm going to show you some of the stances that we do, some transitions that we need to work on so that we can go further in our practice. Okay, so first is our horse stance. Everybody knows we start here with the hands pulled back tight so they're not too low, but up by the rib cage. And we're sink. We're going to do our toes out, heels out, toes out. And then if this is uncomfortable, if you can straighten the feet, you can straighten heels out again, come down, or you can leave open. You'll figure out which one is best for you. So we don't want too wide. We don't want too wide like that. Right? And we don't want too close. We need to be able to sink. So a little wider than shoulder width is optimal. Okay, so this is our horse stance. All right, we also want to be able to go from the horse stance to the bow stance. So we've got our horse stance. When we're going to go to a bow stance, we're just going to do a small step. So if I want my bow stance to face that direction, I'm going to step with my right leg. So if you're at home and you're following me, and you can mirror me, so I'm going to use my right leg. You can use your left leg, but I'm going to step forward just a touch and then turn. So as I turn, my foot is 45 degrees here, and most of the weight is in my left leg. If you're mirroring me, it'll be your right leg. This leg is semi-straight, so we never want to lock the knees, any of the joints. We don't want to lock the arms. We don't want to lock anything. We want to keep our energy flowing, be light and supple, and we want to avoid any injury. So when you lock your joints, it's quick to be injured. So when you punch, make sure you're not locking your elbow. So here, there's a slight bend here, and the weight is forward. So that's how we turn into our bow punch. So we go from horse stance here, step forward, and when I turn, the turning of the waist is what's going to generate the power for the punch. So I step, turn, punch, boom. And we turn back to horse stance. We can bring the foot back or just turn it on the heel and side punch. This is either way. Okay? So if we go this way, we step out and turn. Step back, horse stance. Step, turn, horse stance, punch. That's our side punch. All right? So practice that transition. Have Jared demonstrate a little bit.
All right. So in our horse stance, gonna come out, land all at one time, coming back. Want it all to land at the same time. We also have in our form, we also have the side punch, where we're kind of just, where it's twisted up somehow. You just want to come back to straighten up, and you can use that to generate power for another punch. So we're in a bow stance, or some other kind of stance like this, and just twisting your waist, just shooting your fist out to the side. That's what I call a side punch. So even for like this.
All right, so in our form, we also have the kick and punch, which comes after the bow punch. So let's say we're doing, and this one I'm going to go in the correct direction. If you're watching me, it'll be backwards for you if you try to follow. But I don't want to confuse by doing the mirror image. Okay. So first is our at ease, and then we go into our tension. Our left face, we come forward, make fists, and we're going to pull back and look left same time. When we do our double punch, we're going to step out with the left foot, we're going to cross below, and we'll come up and down. So here's our first bow punch. We're going to step, bow punch, right here. Next is our kick and punch. So this is my right arm. I'm going to use my opposite arm to punch, and I'm going to kick with the back leg. So as this hand comes back, this leg goes forward, and I'm going to punch as I kick. Once I'm here, I'm going to set the heel down, foot's not down yet, and I'm going to turn to horse stance, and I'm going to punch the side punch with this hand. So as I turn the waist, like Jared explained, the energy is going to come from the twisting of the waist, and I'll come back to horse stance. Here's our at ease, and then we go into a tension, left face, double punch, we step, cross on the bottom, up, open. Bow punch, step, turn, kick and punch. Foot down, turn, side. At ease. Cinch up. Left face. Double punch. Bow punch. Kick and punch. Side punch. Double punch. Full punch. Kick and punch. Side punch. The next one is our cat stance. Let's do it together, Jared. We're going to do horse stance. And we're going to shift left, turn our bodies to the right with the cat stance and in ready position. So let's go on 2. We'll go 1 and 2, step, turn. So your right leg should be empty. You should be able to pick it up, no problem. Let's do it again. Back to horse stance. And 1 and 2, turn. Right here. So this is our ready position. So Jared's in his horse stance. You're in horse stance. He's looking my way. Maybe he punches and I block. Punch. So I block. I'm going to kick his leg. So I go to kick his leg. He goes back into his stance and then he kicks. Okay. I come in the punch. He gets his space and kick. Good. Going from our cat stance into crane, just holding the leg up. This is a good exercise to do. Get your knee as high as you can. And circle a foot. Maybe do 10 times. And reverse. And keep your guards up. So one thing we want to always keep is the hands in front of the body. One hand in front, one hand back. Come here, please, Jared. And Jared's going to stand right here. And as I hand my hands up, he touches my arm. Push in a little bit. So my hand, it shouldn't move. It should be relaxed, but it should not be just here, where if he pushes, there's nothing there. So we don't want that. We want here, right here. So in case Jared punches, he punches, and it hits my arm, it's deflected off, and then I can strike the open targets. Okay. Right. So Jared's in his ready position, the cat stance, and I go to kick his leg. He brings it up, or I kick his ankle. He's going to avoid it by bringing it up. So I go to kick. Also, if I try to kick the side of him, he's going to bring his knee up to block. Very good. One more time, I kick the foot. It's not there. I kick the leg. He blocks. So being able to bring that leg up, very important. And we start hands here. We shift, sink, come over and up. So when we get into our long fist form, we come down. Make sure your foot turns out. Your knee and your foot are going to go same direction. You're going to sink into the leg. Sinking down. Come down and forward. And when we get to the form, we're going to turn this way. Hook is in the back, blocking high. And this is our forward stance. We're going to do a kick. So we'll come to that later. But right now we just want to be able to go from here, pulling down, sink, to here. Keep the back straight. And it's going to work the leg muscles. It's going to be a nice stretch in the groin. But the more you do it, the easier it'll get. So horse stance, hands over, turn, sink. Forward. Here, turn, down, sink, forward, up, kick. From here, we're going to turn into our cross stance without using the crane beak. We're just going to hold here. So I'm going to turn one time this way, one time that way, and then I'll turn around and show from the other direction. So from here, I lift the toes, so my weight transfers into this leg, lifting the toes on this foot. I'm going to turn this foot on the heel. This foot's going to turn on the ball of the foot or toe. So I turn here, cross, and my body turns across. Optimally, the leg will be parallel to the floor, but don't worry about that if yours is not. So we're going to turn the other way. I'm going to shift. This leg comes up, turn it all the way around, and my body facing the mirror. So don't worry about getting as low as I've got just now. When you turn, I'm going to turn this way so you can see. We're here. I shift and turn. So my toes point the same direction as my torso, and this foot points as if they would crisscross if their paths intersected. Or I should say this toe is pointing towards the wall. So I turn back, lift the toes, turn back, turn other side. Waist turns all the way around. So just get the hang of practicing this. Turning. And then we add our crane beak here. Turn. Here. Turn. Here. Good. There's another way to get into the cross stance, and it's by stepping either to the front and behind, and you want to be fluid in transitioning. So if I step behind, this foot's already facing forward, this foot's going to face sideways. I can step behind into cross stance this way. And from here I can also turn back to horse stance. Or I can turn cross stance and step out horse stance. So if I step in front, I can step in front here, step out here, step in front here, step out here. Step behind, can turn. I step in front, turn. Step behind, turn. So these transitions come into play. I'll have Jared come forward a little bit. Say he's sneak attacking me. I don't know, I'm turning this way, he's coming here behind me here. Right? I'll turn sideways. And maybe I look, I see him behind me, he's coming to punch. I turn, I don't have time to step, or maybe I can step, but because I want to keep close to him so that I can do a maneuver after, I'm going to stay here, and then I can attack here. And I said we can step out of our cross stance, so if I step, I can go into any other maneuver there. So from here, if I step behind, I can do what we call a stealing step, which means I'm going to steal the space between us. So if he punches, I come across, and I step here. So here, once I block here, to get close, I step. There's my cross stance. And then if I want to turn the horse stance, I can bring him around with me, this way. So that was the step here. I just add a little bit of arms here and an elbow. Let's do that again. And then I turn the horse stance. I'm going to just use his arm to turn him across and into the mirror. So you're doing a stealing step. I'll give you this arm. Let's turn this way. And as you block across, you're going to come across this way. Yeah. And this foot is going to step behind. So your right foot, yes. And as you step behind, you're going to elbow to the ribs. And then you lock my arm across your body and just turn the horse stance. Use same arm. Here, step, elbow, and turn the horse stance. Then I can lock it. Yeah. Stealing step. Ideally too, if the distance isn't there, so he punches again, but suppose I'm out here, it's kind of far for me to elbow, I'll just use a claw or a punch, either one. If I claw here, I can also, he's going to probably punch that other hand, he goes to punch the other hand, I'm going to turn and disappear, come back around. So it's important to have the feet work. So that one by itself would look like this. Come in here, he punches in my head, I come around, across, and in. One more time, punch, punches again, come across here, and then I turn, he's punching the other hand, I turn, I come down, he punches that hand, I come down, and then I go across here. So that's enough for now. That's a lot to practice. Just practice the stances, transitioning between them, and eventually you want to be able to go from any stance into the other stance. So if I'm here in crane stance, I want to be able to step down in the horse stance, go to cat stance, up, horse, cross, step out, come down, up. So that'll come with time, but you want to be able to practice it to the point where you can go from one to the other fluently. All right, thanks. Have fun practicing. We'll see you Wednesday.